Hi everyone, welcome to the second virtual paint party through the Uniondale Public Library. The first one was our pumpkin paint party, which had no video, but this one we are going to, or I'll be going over just briefly of what we're painting for this paint party. So if this is your first time doing a virtual paint party through Uniondale Public Library, you would pick up a bag. Once you sign up and register, you'd pick up a bag with a canvas, a paintbrush, which will look a little bit different than mine, and you're going to get a few cups of paint in these little plastic containers. So the paints that we are working with today are this blue, black, green, orange, and white, and we are going to be painting the Harvest Moon paint party for November. So I don't know if you can tell on my canvas, but I just drew with pencil, which you can totally do on your own, a little outline of what I want the canvas to look like. So the moon's gonna be here, here's gonna be the night sky. I have just a couple of trees, but I'm probably gonna have more there. And then there's going to be the little farm with a bunch of pumpkins that we're gonna paint with all of the colors. So the only thing that you need that doesn't come included in the kit is just a cup of water and some paper towels or napkins or whatever it is that you want to try and contain the mess. Okay, and so the first thing that I'm going to do and that you're going to do is you're going to take the blue and you're going to take a few globs of blue, the acrylic, you're just going to slap it anywhere on the canvas. We're going to paint the entire board this blue with a little bit of black in it. So I'm gonna put a few little globs of blue all over the place, and I'm gonna add a few little globs of black to make it more dark, to appear to be more nighttime. And then all you're going to do is just paint the entire canvas, and we want it to be covered, completely covered. It's gonna take a while. This is definitely gonna be the longest step, but you wanna cover the complete canvas in this midnight blue until it's completely covered. So I will be right back once this is completely covered. Okay, so here's kind of what my canvas looks like after all that. You can see the different like shades of black and blue, but you could also see a whole bunch of streaks and clumps. So at this step, you're just gonna wanna keep going back and forth to make sure everything is smooth and the paint is all mixed in. Since this is acrylic paint that we're working with, it will dry very quickly, but it needs to be all flat. There can't be any lumps, because the lumps take a very long time to dry. And we're gonna need all of this to be dry before we go on to the next step. So, and if you don't like the patches of black and blue like on mine, I think it's kind of cool. You could add more blue paint or more black paint to make it one solid color, but we want it to kind of look like nighttime, and I think it definitely does, at least for one of the areas. But we'll be painting over half of it with the dirt and the pumpkins. But you just want to keep spreading back and forth, and again, it will dry super, super quickly. I'm gonna keep doing this until the next step and when it's all completely dry. All right, we're back and the canvas is all dry. There's no wet spots here, nothing here. And next you're going to want to pick which side, the top or the bottom, that you want to be your night sky. I'm gonna go with this top here because it's just a bit more black and it's gonna look more like nighttime than this side. So you're gonna want to take the brown paint that I forgot to mention you're gonna get as well. And you're going to want to take your brown paint and do a little line right in the middle there, and you're going to paint down, and we're going to make that whole area the field for the pumpkins to grow. So you can, once the acrylic is dry, you can paint right over it and you won't have any errors, there won't be any blending, unnecessary blending. So again, you will take the brown and you will paint all the way across, and I will. All right, so now we have that whole line of brown paint right there, and you're gonna wanna take the brown paint and just keep painting this whole area brown, just like you did for the night sky, except now you just have to do it with brown. You don't have to, you can add black if you wanna make it a little bit darker, or you could add white if you wanna make it a little bit lighter. You could add blue if you want, you could add whatever color you want. Okay, Now that the entire bottom is all brown here, I see there's still a little bit of wet spots, so you could still continue to go over just like you did before to make sure it dries a little bit quicker. But the next step that you can start to do is we're going to make, from like in the beginning, the moon, because that's the whole point of this paint party, is the harvest moon. So in order to make the moon color, I'm going to use a little bit of the orange and the white, and I'm going to mix it. So you can either on the paper towel or a separate piece of paper, you could take a little glob of orange and you can take a little glob of white, and you can add a bit of water to help mix it up. And I want to make a really, really, really light orangey yellow color like the moon. So let's see. Okay, so that looks good enough. All right, and then you're just gonna wanna eyeball it, and you can make a little circle like the moon. And if you don't like your circle, you could always paint over it once it dries. So that's the first layer. We're gonna have to add a few layers of the moon to make sure that you can see it. So you're gonna wanna keep that mixed color on the side so that we can, once this dries, we can add another layer so that the moon really shines. Okay, and then after that, you can start taking some of the green that's in your set, and you can, let me just mix up my brush here in the water. All right, you could take some of the green and you could just start making trees, and you could just start like a little triangle right at the top, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And there we have, very quickly, a little green tree in the corner. And if you keep doing over and over and over again, different sizes, different shapes, you will soon have a bunch of trees in the background. So I'm going to cut to when I have my entire trees here, and then this set is all dry, and I will show you how to do the pumpkins. So I'm back, and let me show you, let me go a bit closer. Here are all the trees I made in the background. The triangles here, the green little triangles, I added little tree trunks there, and you can add as many trees as you want. You don't have to add any trees. You could add a mountain. I believe the reference picture that you're gonna get in your paint party kit, the background, there's a mountain. Whatever colors you want to do and mix and create, you can. I made the moon a bit bigger, and it definitely looks a lot better with a few layers of paint over it. It looks a lot more brighter. And now I'm finally going to do the last step, and we're gonna create our field of pumpkins in the forest. So I'm just personally going to take my black, and I'm gonna make a bunch of small little black lines across the field to separate them. I don't know if you've ever seen on farms, there's always the little hills and there's little dividers separating them. So I'm just gonna do a bunch of small little black lines here to separate where the pumpkins are gonna be. Okay. And you can do it any angle you want to do. You don't have to do it as straight as mine. You can do it on a bit of a curve. Okay, and then for the pumpkins, we're just gonna take the orange, and you're just gonna add a bunch of tiny little pumpkins all over the place. They just look like mini tiny moons all over the farms. You can add as many as you want. You can make them as big as you want. You're definitely going to have to do a few coats to make sure that they really stand out. But we really want the pumpkins to pop out just like the moon in this painting. So once you have all of your pumpkins and you have all the layers of paint on them, then you can add little stems with the green, and then your painting will be complete. So I will be right back with the finished product. So here is my almost complete painting. I have a hell of a lot more pumpkins, and I noticed while you're painting the pumpkins, as the first layer dries, you can barely see them on the brown. So you're just gonna have to keep painting them over until they're nice and brown and neon orange like mine. And I went in with my paintbrush and I got the green again, and I decided for those little black lines I made just the little dabs there to try and make it look like there are plants growing to separate between the pumpkins. And then I also made little stems connecting the pumpkins to the greenery to pretend that they are growing out of the ground, because they are. And you can also take the green and make little bushes in between the trees here to try and make it look more separate from the landscape, to give the illusion that the trees are far away. And again, you can just continue to go over any of the colors that you want to be more vibrant. I like that the trees are barely visible in mine. It is supposed to be nighttime and the focus is really supposed to be the pumpkins, but if you want the trees to be more prominent, you can always add a little bit white with the green, or you could just keep painting them on. You can continue to make the moon a little bit brighter. I like that brightness, and you can use any of the leftover colors to add anything you want, like maybe a few stars in the sky here with the leftover white. Oh, if I can get white here. Let's see. Just a few little dots there. See, make it look more like the night sky. And that's why, in that way, the stars will look different from the moon. Anything else you want to add, you can add a few little dots of dark brown by mixing brown with the black to make little dirt patches in between the little lines here to make it look like, I don't know, rough patches in the dirt or whatever. Just something to give it more dimension and life. And that is pretty much the end of my first virtual paint party. Again, you guys can do anything you want with these colors and these canvases. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. It doesn't have to look exactly like the reference picture that's included in your kit when you sign up to reserve one. And you can do whatever you want. So please, 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 please send us photos of your completed paintings. You can tag us on social media, or you can email it to children'sinfo@uniondalelibrary.org. I would love to see all of your wonderful paintings. I'm sure they're gonna look so much better than mine. And we're going to have a virtual art gallery added on our website. And I would love to add all of your amazing paintings to that for everyone to see. So please, please, please send me those photos. And anyway, that is it for this virtual paint party. I hope to see you guys all soon. There's another paint party in December, and we have a whole bunch of more take and makes and crafts and programs that you can sign up for on our website.